Chase at the 40. Look at that move. Look at Chase go. Oh, my goodness. What a gear.
He comes down to this in his car, end zone. Intercepted.
McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl.
Toss here. Nixon's going to throw. Open man. Caught. Higgins touchdown.
Drives. Touchdown. Joe Burrow has his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. Maan, episode 65 is here. 65. That is crazy that we're about to hit episode 70. Unbelievable. It's just been an awesome ride so far. Once again, guys, thank you so much for supporting our show, tuning in every week. We absolutely love you guys. You guys are the best. Please keep interacting with us. Make sure, once again, as always, you comment in the comment section. Today, we are going to have a breaking down the roster. I'm very excited about this, Maan. And listeners, please get involved with this. We want to know what your rankings are. Maan and I are going to explain to you how we are going to do this ranking system as we continue with OTAs and coming out into training camp. Training camp's only, about a month and a half away, I think. So very exciting stuff. Real quick, Mom, before I throw it over to you, it's so hard being a Reds fan. They win 5 in a row. They got the Brewers coming in. They're 3 games out of first place, and they have lost 3 in a row. I went to the game yesterday. Man, Ashcraft has been Ashcraft for the last couple outings. Good Lord, yesterday he could not get an out. It's just brutal, Mon. It is so brutal being a Reds fan. How's your week going, man? Everything going good with you?
Good. How do I sound, Jake? Do I sound okay? I just did
Sound
some.
good.
Okay, good. I had to switch
Sound
some
great.
things while you were talking. Yeah, everything's gone well. Every year I subscribe to MLB TV. I didn't do it this year. But then the Reds were getting really exciting. Things were happening. And I went ahead and signed up a few days ago. And since I signed up for MLB TV, they've lost 3 in a row. It's my fault.
You jinxed us. It's your fault.
And God, I want a refund so bad. No, but it sucks. It sucks. And they had a perfect opportunity. And you're right. Ashcraft is just not. Last year was a pleasant surprise. Things haven't worked out. And Tyler Stevenson has really struggled at the plate. Also, a little disappointed in that. I'm a big fan of his, but they had their opportunities in yesterday's game. They got waxed today. We're recording on Sunday, and it's unfortunate. But you know what? I can't get a refund, so I'm going to watch a lot more baseball. And you know what? I think what's going to help them, Jake? By popular demand, we've had thousands of Bengal Pulse followers contact us about the mustache, and it's coming back.
Well, maybe that'll give us some good luck then.
Yeah, it's. I got some stubble here, but we had at least 20,000 people respond. Full of crap. But the mustache is coming back. Look out, Reds.
All right, let's get into the show, Maan. It is. It's going to be a fun one. I'm interested to see where you and I differ on these players. So what we're going to do, listeners, is we are going to go through all 22 starters, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. We're going to go through right now the projected starters for the Bengals on both sides of the ball, and Maan and I are going to rate them. Okay, so we are going to rate them elite, very good, good, average, and below average. Okay, and again, we want you guys to follow along and do the same. Make sure you comment in the comment section so we see where you guys fall. and let us know, who do you agree with, Mon or I? Obviously, you guys always agree with me, so it's not even going to be a question who you're going to agree with. But let us know who you agree with. And we're going to do it on a point system, right, Mon? So elite is 5, very good is 4, good is 3, average is 2, and below average is 1. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Here we go. So we're going to start with the offensive side of the ball. All right. We're gonna, let's make this easy and start at the top of this offense, and let's start with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, again, going into his 4th year now as the Bengals starting quarterback, really 3rd full year, because that first year, obviously, with the injury and not finishing the year out. His 2 first full seasons, 2 AFC championship appearances and 1 AFC championship win with a Super Bowl appearance, and was 2.5 minutes away from winning the Super Bowl. Let's not talk about that. Let me just say this real quick. People have been throwing that Logan Wilson, that highlight on Twitter, the Logan Wilson penalty. Every time I watch it, it puts me in a bad mood, Mon. I swear to you, it's like I cannot get over that call. It was just absolutely terrible. Just a terrible call. It's one of the worst calls in Super Bowl history. What an absolute pathetic call, Mon.
It was, yeah. That's no. You're absolutely right. It's easily one of the worst calls. And back-to-back Super Bowls, we've had horrible holding calls or ticky-tack holding calls that helped, with the outcome of the game. And the Logan Wilson one was textbook, just horrible. I agree, Jake. You gave me a headache talking about it, and
I know. I'm sorry.
Sucks.
I'm sorry. All right, let's get back on track here. Joe Burrow, Mon, starting quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll let you go first on this one, Mon. Where do you rank Joe Burrow?
He's elite, easy one. 5 points. He is easily top 3 quarterback in football. You can make an argument he's the best. Pro Football Focus had him as the best. But of course, when we talk best, we talk Super Bowl championships. Mahomes is up there. He's played longer than Burrow. Burrow's going to get his. Burrow doesn't get the credit he deserves as an athlete. He's a very good athlete. May not be like a Lamar Jackson elite guy, but his arm strength is good also. But his football smarts, his football intangibles are through the roof. He knows what he has to do. He understands, hit the offense. He knows how to attack a defense, and he's an alpha. He makes average teammates into better players. He's just that natural leader, that intangible that we always talk about. It's very Boomer-esque. It's more than Boomer, because Boomer had that same type of alpha leadership that people gravitated to, and I think that's what makes Joe Burrow elite. It's a total package. Good arm strength, football smarts, athleticism, and that leadership quality is just through the roof. He's elite level. 5 points.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's elite as well, obviously. So give me 5 points. You're gonna keep track of this, right?
I am. So you got
All right,
5
awesome.
for Joe?
5 for
That's
Joe.
shocking. I can't believe you gave Joe 5.
I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL, and I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl, and I know Patrick Mahomes is right there at the top of the list with him. But I think what Joe has done these last 2 years behind the offensive line that he has had it's stammering, the numbers and the wins and everything else that he has accomplished behind below average offensive lines. I don't think if you put any other quarterback behind those offensive lines that you get the same outcome that you have had with Joe Burrow. That's why I think he is elite. I think, like you said, his intangibles there is no other quarterback in the NFL that carries themselves like Joe Burrow, where, again, everybody in the locker room believes in this guy. Again, I think Patrick Mahomes is right there. I think it's a close 1 and 2. And then, honestly, after those two, I think there is a gap in between 2 and 3. So put Joe either at 1 or 2, whatever you want to put him. After Joe and Patrick Mahomes, there's a gap there between those quarterbacks. So Joe Burrow, elite. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't think any general manager in the NFL would not say that Joe Burrow is elite. So I can't imagine anyone not agreeing with us on that one. Let's move to running back Joe Mixon. Maan, I'll go ahead and start with Joe Mixon.
Sure.
I think he is very good. So give me 4 points for Joe Mixon. I don't think he is elite. I think he lacks in the pass game. We've seen him struggle in pass pro, but I think every other aspect of his game puts him somewhere in that top 10, top 12 running backs in the NFL. I think he catches the ball well out of the backfield, very well out of the backfield. And I think he is still a very good runner. Again, let's not forget that Joe Burrow's been thrown behind that offensive line. Joe Mixon's been running behind it. And I think that is something you have to look at, Mon, when you look at Joe Mixon's numbers, is what he has done behind that offensive line. So Joe Mixon, give me 4 points. I think he's very good. What do you think, Mon?
Jake, I agree with you. I gave him 4 points also. I was a little torn here. I'm trying to think how the players were last year. I think overall in his career, he's been very good consistently every year he's played. Last year, he's more maybe good, just a notch below very good. But I'm going to go total package his whole career. I think he still has a lot of gas in the tank. You're right. That offensive line, we don't talk enough about that. Of course, we talk about the sacks of certain players and all that. What about run blocking? The Bengals offensive line, they do have some smash mouth guys now, but they've been finessed for a few years. They're not really a strong pass blocking team. They mostly play with one tight end, and he struggled behind that line some. I think the first 5 games last year, he only averaged 2.4, 2.5 yards per carry. Then they changed their blocking scheme around week 5 or 6, and things improved dramatically. Very talented. He's good out of the backfield. I know he gets critiqued a lot on his pass blocking. I think he's still very good. I give him 4 points. I'm glad he's still on the team. And, I feel very confident giving him 4 points and classifying him as very good.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the wide receivers, the 3 starters. Let's start with the guy that we have to start with, Ja'Marr Chase. Again, Mon, I'm going to let you go first on this one. Ja'Marr Chase, tell us, what do you think? Where do you have Ja'Marr Chase at?
I have him at the elite level. The Cincinnati Bengals have the best trio in football when it comes to wide receivers. A no-brainer 5. I watched the replay of the Saints game yesterday. That game was really, really close. I forgot how close that game was. He took over at the end. He's so strong. He's not a 6'5" guy. He's 6 foot maybe, but defensive backs were bouncing off of him. He is tough to bring down. That guy's really thick in the lower body. He's a strong guy. I'm telling you, he could potentially be one of the all-time greats in the NFL. Stays healthy and continues to play. No-brainer, elite level wide receiver. 5 points for Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, give me 5 points as well. Go ahead and mark me down for 5 for Ja'Marr Chase. Again, I don't think there's any doubt. I think he is top 3, top 4 wide receivers in the NFL. I think he should have been first team All-Pro. You and I are not going to get into that argument today, but again, that's why I think the All-Pro is just such a joke, because his rookie year was so incredible, Mon. What he did coming in as a rookie of the year, obviously should have been all pro, really helped carry that Bengals team with Joe Burrow to the Super Bowl that year. Last year, I think the Saints game is when he was banged up, right? That kind of caused him to miss a little bit of time after that. I think he was playing on a bum leg that game, wasn't he?
He injured it. He injured it that game. He played the whole
Yeah.
game, but the first touchdown pass he caught, that's where he tweaked his hip, and
yeah. So
I think just to follow up on the All Pro thing, I agree with you. I think him missing 4 games really hurt him, but every game he played, he was impactful. But yeah, go ahead, Jake.
I just think I don't think this is any discussion here. I think he is elite. Like I said, top 4 in the NFL. Yards after the catch, his route running, his hands, strong hands. There's not a lot of Jamar Chases in the NFL. And I think there's no doubt here that he is elite. Let's move on to T. Higgins. I'll start with this one. I'm going to say he's also elite, Mon. So give me 5 points for T. Higgins. Again, I don't think T gets the credit that he deserves. He is such an incredible receiver, a downfield guy. He gets out of the top of his route so well, strong hands. Again, we saw that connection that Joe Burrow and T. Higgins has built over these last 3 years. And I think that it's so impressive that the Bengals have 2 elite receivers. Now, where does T. Higgins fall in the NFL? I'm going to say he's a top 10 receiver. I'm not going to put a number on it, but I think T. Higgins goes on all 32 teams and probably is the number 1 receiver on, I don't know, I'm going to say 26 of those teams probably. I just think he is just an incredible player. And again, we go back, if that call against Logan Wilson never happens, Mon, T. Higgins is probably the MVP of the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I agree with you on that. I think T. Higgins is an elite wide receiver. I agree with you. He would start on 20, 25 teams easily. He is. I hate to say he's overshadowed because he makes his mark in every Bengal game. There's so many games last year where the Bengals needed the spark, and he made these unbelievable contested catches that really got that offense rolling. He's going to be a Bengal for a long time. There is no way Mike Brown and the Bengals are going to let him go. Mike Brown loves quarterbacks and wide receivers. He's going to be making $20, $25 million a year. We are so blessed to have him. I'm going to admit something. When we drafted him, I was never a crazy fan of his at Clemson. I thought he was going to be like Kelvin Benjamin. He's going to put on 50 pounds and become a tight end. But he is absolutely a beast, and we are so fortunate to have him. I have him as an elite also, 5 points.
I'm going to correct you. Mon, he would start for all 32 teams in the NFL. I am saying that he would be the number 1 receiver.
That's what I meant. That's fair.
Okay, that's what you meant. All right, okay.
Yeah,
all right, so let's move on to Tyler Boyd. Mon, I'll let you go ahead and start with this one. This is an interesting one. What do you think about Tyler Boyd?
I have Tyler Boyd as very good. He's one of the best slot receivers in football. If you could make an argument, he's probably the best. His comment this past week, it's something we've been saying for a while. He said that if he didn't get hurt in that AFC Championship game, he was destined to have a big game. Duh, absolutely. We said that. He had 2 catches for 40 yards. He got hurt early in the second quarter. The Bengals would have won that game, and they would have played in that Super Bowl against the Eagles. I am very confident of that, and I know there's Chiefs fans that listen to our show. It is what it is. That's just a fact. If Tyler Boyd did not get hurt, the Bengals would have won that game. He's such a good player. If teams want to double chase, they want to double Higgins, Boyd's going to eat. He's sneaky fast. He may not have burner speed, but he knows how to get open, and he's tough. He is so tough. Remember that game against the Steelers? He gets popped right at the 10-yard line, bounces off the safety, and runs into for a touchdown. And he's 6'2", tough as nails. And I also like what he said at the press conference. He understands that they got to pay Chase, they got to pay Burrow, they got to pay Higgins. He gets it. He's good with money. He's made his money. I think the Bengals will try to re-sign him. And if anybody's going to give the Bengals a little bit of a hometown discount, it's going to be Tyler Boyd. It's going to be interesting to monitor that and see what happens. Mike Brown loves his wide receivers, and we'll see what happens there. But Tyler Boyd, I got him very good, 4 points.
Yeah, go ahead and give me 4 points too, Mom. I can't believe that we're agreeing on all these. Well, I kind of can. I mean, I think these are walk in the parks. You know what I mean? Tyler Boyd, and I think that's the big news this week in Bengaldom is Tyler Boyd finally shows up for the OTAs. And again, he has his presser talking about what you just said. He wants to be a Bengal. I'm going to agree with you. I think there's a very good chance that Tyler Boyd is back in stripes. But he has just been so clutch over the years. And I know that play in the Super Bowl was a tough one. That was a big drop first down that made us punt the football back to the Rams that led to that game-winning drive. That was a tough drop, but you don't see a lot of that from Tyler Boyd, and usually he's a guy that's making those catches. But Tyler Boyd, he's one of the best slot guys in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. And again, the Bengals receiving core, I agree with you. It's the best trio in the NFL. So, all right, let's move on.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Can you stop bringing up the Super Bowl? Can you please stop bringing up the Super Bowl? I don't want to talk about it. I'm joking. You're giving me like panic attacks here.
Mom, we have to talk about it eventually. We have to talk about it. That was a very bad day and night for us. We were wandering around Los Angeles after the game, Maan, in a daze, trying to find an Uber. It was just a very bad memory for both of us. But we have to talk about it one day.
Jake, I've spent $1,000 on therapy after that game. I've been in therapy for months after that crap. But now I hear you.
Well, I'm not so sure that therapy all is around the Bengals Super Bowl. You've needed therapy for a long time.
Very fair. That's very fair. That's a fair statement.
I know Heather would agree. All right, let's go to Irv. Let's go to Irv Smith, Maan, a guy that I'm going to be honest. I really don't know a ton about this guy. I'm going to say he's good. For me, it's good, average. I think his potential is there, and so give me 3 points. I'm going to say he's good. I'm interested to see how he's going to fit into this offense. I know this much: when he's healthy, when he has been healthy, he has been a weapon for the Minnesota Vikings, and hopefully that transpires in Cincinnati as well, because he is very dynamic when he gets the ball in his hands.
Jake, I think you hit it right on the head. It's about his health. And listen, my rating is no disrespect to him. I think if he stays healthy, he could be very good. He could be very, very good. He just hasn't really, pieced together. It's been, a little unluck for him, unluckiness. I have him as average right now. I'm just going by the big, his whole career.
I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you for
that. I have him as average, but if anybody that I have rated can spike up to get to above average or elite, not elite, very good, it could be him. And you know what Joe Burrow does with tight ends? They end up signing big contracts the next year. And I hope Irv Smith signs a big contract and remains a Cincinnati Bengal. He could be somebody that, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That average ranking, it's only because, his injuries, he's missed some games. But if he stays healthy for 17 games, he could be good to very good, very easily.
Well, Joe Burrow, he makes those tight ends money. He makes them money. So I think that Joe Burrow effect is definitely going to be a factor in this whole thing. And I agree with you. I think Irv Smith could be, that guy this year that just wows everybody. Where has this guy been? Type of a thing, because Joe Burrow has that effect on tight ends. All right, let's move on to the offensive line. Let's start on the other side. I'm not going to start with the easy one. I'm going to start you with the toughest one. And that is Jonah Williams, penciled in right now at right tackle, Maan. This is probably going to start some arguments, not between you and I, but let's talk about Jonah. Maan, where do you have Jonah Williams? I'm very interested to hear this.
Yeah, the Jonah Williams debate flared up again on Twitter this week, and I don't want to come across as some big Jonah Williams hater. We talked about it a few episodes back. Everybody was arguing about what level of average is Jonah Williams. Last year, he was below average. Listen, the injury had something to do with that. He did dislocate his kneecap, playing with a rookie left guard, communication issues. That's a very fair argument, but he was below average. His previous years, he had some good games, but he's always been average. So I'm going to give him a 2. I have him as an average right tackle. I want to say this. I don't root against any Bengal player. If Jonah Williams comes in and absolutely destroys it, and he makes it really hard for the Bengals to sign him to an extension, I will gladly say, hey, I was wrong. I'll eat that crow. I get it. I want him to make me look bad. I want him to come in and be one of the best right tackles in football. I'm just giving my opinion. He's been average. He struggled some. He's more of a finesse player. I know that's not a positive word when it comes to offensive linemen, but he was the first-round pick, 11th overall in the draft. He obviously has talent. He did play right tackle some in college. I want him to come in and be successful, and I want him to help the Cincinnati Bengals. But right now, I'm going to give him an average rating, 2 points.
Yeah, go ahead and do the same for me. Give him 2 points for me. I agree with everything you say. I think he is average. Last year, he was just downright awful. I'm just going to say it. And again, that's no disrespect. Listen, I'm not going to jump on this Jonah Williams hate bandwagon. I have said the last months, I do not want Jonah Williams to be traded, because the Bengals are better with Jonah Williams on this team, whether it's starting or coming off the bench, whatever the case may be. The depth at offensive line has been poor. And I agree with you, Maan. If Jonah Williams makes us eat crow, the Bengals are going to be in the Super Bowl this year, and they're probably going to win it. Because if Jonah Williams ends up being an above-average right tackle, the Bengals are going to have one of the best offensive lines in football. So,
absolutely.
I hope he makes us eat crow, but I'm going to go with average as well. All right, let's move on to right guard. Alex Kappa, one of the additions from last year. Alex Kappa, Maan, the right guard. I am going to say Alex Kappa is good. So give me 3 points for Alex Kappa. I think he's good, and I think he's teetering on very good. I think Alex Kappa makes this offensive line that much better. When he went down with that injury, the Bengals struggled. And I think you saw how important Alex Kappa was to this offensive line.
Yeah, Jake, that's fair. I have him as very good. I know a lot of people don't follow Pro Football Focus. I'm not an analytic data guy. I did subscribe to it. I do like the information. I like how they break down things. I know there's multiple other sites. They had him as basically our highest rated offensive lineman last year. Alex Kappa was playing very, very well. I think if he remained healthy, again, with the Tyler Boyd injury, the AFC Championship game, I think we're Super Bowl champions because he was really that important to that offensive line. I have him as very good. I think he's a top-tier guard in the NFL, top 7, 8. I think maybe top 10. I really see that. Tampa Bay, I know Tom Brady was really bummed out when he signed with the Bengals. and they struggled down there in Tampa with with him and the other players that left. I have Kappa with 4 points, very good. That's very fair though. You have him good. There's a couple other players I'm going to have, Jake. I have them teetering in between spots. So, but I have Kappa at 4 points.
I think Alex Kappa for me was the hardest one to rate because I think he's right there in between very good and good. I think, again, like you said, without that injury, you don't have that injury. I know it's a what if, but man, oh man, that offensive line, you saw the struggles after Alex Kappa went down. And he was an impactful. What a great signing Alex Kappa was. And let's talk about the other great offensive line signing of that same year, Ted Karras. Maan. This guy came in from New England and made a huge impact. Where do you have him rated?
Okay, this is a tough one for me too. I have him as good. He sort of in between good and very good. I have him as good. Major improvement over Trey Hopkins. He's a solid player. He's been consistent his whole career. Good. It isn't chop liver. I like him. The Bengals excelled with him. The offensive line, the interior improved dramatically with Kappa and himself. He's playing with Volson, who I'm really high on for this year, but listen, that guy didn't know what he didn't know, and Karras was helping him, and listen, sort of like Burrow, you see what he's doing with the Cincy hats when he walked off the Tennessee game. He just has this alpha leadership quality that I think makes his teammates around him better. Ultimate team leader. That's what I love about him. I got him as good, almost very good. That's my ranking.
Well, I'm going to give him a very good. So give me 4 for Ted Karras. I think, again, when you look at the total package, I think you have to look at the intangibles, Mon. And the Bengals have not had a good center for a very, very long time. And we saw the difference in having a very good center, what it does to that offensive line. When Alex Kappa went down, Ted Karras was the heart of that offensive line. He was holding that line together. He was the glue. And I don't think you can overlook those kind of things. Ted Karras, not only is he a hell of a player, but I think he's a hell of a leader. And I think those intangibles give him that extra point. So give me 4 points for Ted Karras. Cordell Volson, the left guard, the rookie that started last year. Mon, give me 3 points for him. Give me 3 points for Cordell Volson. I'm going to say he's good. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think the ceiling is still very high for Cordell Volson. But go ahead and give me good for him. I'm going to say this about Cordell. Is that left side of the line with Jonah Williams struggling as bad as he did, Cordell Volson was holding that left side of the line together as well as he could. Obviously, he had some bad games, and he's a rookie, and that's going to happen. But as poorly as Jonah Williams was playing, I'm sure that's tough on a rookie coming in. And when your left tackle is playing that poorly, you're trying to figure things out as well. I thought Cordell Volson held his own. So give me good for Cordell Volson. Give me 3.
Gotcha. I have him as an average right now. I got 2 points for him. Early on in the season, he was below average. He really struggled. You saw defenses or offensive, Tomlin and the Steelers, the Cowboys really attacked him because they understood he didn't really play a lot in preseason. And, they were trying to overload him, get him to think a lot. He struggled. He got a lot better, Jake, as the season went on. I think the last 8 games, he only had 1 holding penalty, and that was in the AFC Championship game. Dave Lapham always says this, that players, especially offensive linemen, they really take off in year 2. And I think Volson will. I was mesmerized. They had some of the press conferences with Orlando Brown and all of them. He is such a big guy. He is huge. And I really expect this. I gave him an average. He could easily get up to good, the very good soon. He has the potential to be one of our better offensive linemen. I know some of our Twitter followers, some of the elite Twitter followers that have thousands of followers, they're down on him. He's 25. He's already reached his max. I don't like this age thing. He's 24, 25. He's only played 1 year of professional football. He played at a Division II school. He got better over a 16-game season. We didn't play 17 games. He's going to be better this year. He's going to be better in his third year. I'm glad he's on the team. 1,300 snaps last year. Started every game. Bengals have a lot invested in him. Cordell Volson, I have him as average. That could easily change this year, and I think it will.
Yeah, I listen. I think that's ridiculous for anyone to think that he is plateaued after 1 year of football because he's 25 years old. The one position you can't worry about that is offensive line because those guys do get better. And yes. I think Cordell Volson is going to be one of those guys. All right, let's finish it out with our new starting left tackle, Orlando Brown. Maan, where do you have Orlando Brown?
Okay, Jake, this is a real tough one too. He's such an upgrade compared to what we had. He's been to numerous Pro Bowls. Pro Bowls aren't like they used to be, but listen, he's played. He played with the Ravens, very good. Played right tackle with him. Went to Kansas City, played with Mahomes, won a Super Bowl. Great player. You could tell the Chiefs are wounded that he signed with the Bengals. He's somebody to me that's teetering between very good and elite. I know Pro Football Focus isn't, it's just one, website that rates players. They have him top 15, top 20. I have him as very good, close to elite. I'm glad he's on the team. He makes the Bengals so much better, not just in pass blocking, Jake, but in run blocking. He's 360 pounds. Joe Mixon, Chase Brown, Travion Williams, they're going to enjoy having people like him blocking for him in the run game. I have him as a 4. I have him as very good.
Well, give me 5 because I think he is elite. I think he is one of the top 10 best tackles in football, and to me, that will make you elite. I think he is a guy you see the devastation when you hear it in Patrick Mahomes' voice talking about Orlando Brown. That's when you know a guy is elite. When your elite quarterback is devastated that this guy has left the football team. Orlando Brown has been he's a huge upgrade. And I'm going to tell you this. If the Bengals have Orlando Brown the last 2 years, we definitely have 1 ring, possibly 2 rings. He is that much of a difference maker. Orlando Brown is elite. All right, let's move on to defense, Maan. Here we go. Right into it. Let's start with Sam Hubbard. One of our defensive ends. Sam Hubbard. I'll go ahead and start. I'll go first with Sam Hubbard. How does that sound?
Go right ahead.
Give me 4 points for Sam Hubbard. I think he is very good. I think Sam Hubbard, and I think the one thing that you have to look at is he keeps getting better, Maan. Doesn't he just seem like he keeps getting better? He's very consistent. He is a hustle guy. I absolutely love his play. I would like him to get to the quarterback more. So again, I think he is one of those guys that could teeter, but I'm going to say he's very good. Although he doesn't get the passer down, he does. He is in that very good range where he makes plays in the run game. He makes plays in the pass game. 2 years ago in that Chiefs game, in the AFC Championship game, he made one of the best plays I have seen against Patrick Mahomes. I think he is a very good player, and I think he's still getting better, Maan. What do you think, Sam Hubbard?
Yeah, I agree with you. Very consistent. You're going to get 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 sacks a year with him. He's really good against the run. He's a good athlete. The Bengals
Very good
have him
against the run.
dropping back, playing linebacker sometimes. I was thinking good. He's in between, but I went ahead and he's very good. He's a very good defensive end, very good defensive player. I feel very comfortable saying that. Uh, he he is consistent, Jake. I think that's the key word with him. You know what you're going to get with him,
Yep.
and he's sort of like I don't want to say a go-to guy, but he's sort of becoming the face of that defense, sort of a blue collar kind of guy
Yeah.
that yeah, like Chris Collinsworth was raving about him. He says he was doing film review. He goes, he didn't realize how good, even though Chris Collinsworth lives in Cincinnati, how good Sam Hubbard is. And what a hell of a draft pick, 3rd round pick. That guy. I mean, I remember people were criticizing it. Oh, we don't know how he's going to translate in the pros. A try hard guy. Bengals, Duke Tobin and the Bengals did well drafting him. He's very good. I got 4 points for him.
All right, let's move on to DJ Reader, Mon, the nose tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I know what your number is.
Yeah, you could just put me down for 5 because he is elite. Mon, he is the best nose tackle in football, and he is top 2, maybe 3 defensive tackles in football. Of all defensive tackles, he is one of the best down linemen in football. And to me, I'm not going to get onto this soapbox, this all pro thing and all this, but it is absolutely a joke that DJ Reader does not get the love that he deserves because he is one of the best in the NFL. DJ Reader, give me 5. He's elite.
Jake, I agree with you. I gave him a 5 also. The all pro thing, you're right. They go for the flashy, they go for the sacks, they go for all this stuff. He's not going to give you those sacks, but I'll tell you what he's going to give you. If you're a linebacker, he's going to give you a big payday. Jermaine Pratt signed his big contract. Logan Wilson's going to sign a big contract. Those guys are freed up to run and go kill those linebackers and the other players that carry the ball. DJ Reader is the Joe Burrow to our defense. He is absolutely that important to this team. If something happened to him, the defense would struggle mightily. He missed a handful of games last year. I told you about the Saints game that I was watching with Jamar Chase. Bengals gave up 220 yards rushing that game because DJ Reader didn't play. They struggled big time. And that's how important he is to this team. And they have got to find a way to get him to come back to Cincinnati. I know the defensive tackle for the Bills just signed a big contract, so maybe that's a benchmark Ed Oliver did. So we'll see how that goes, but 5 points, that's an easy one. DJ Reader, 5 points. Yeah.
BJ Hill, Mon. BJ Hill, I'm going to let you go first on this one. What do you got, BJ Hill? He is our other defensive tackle. What do you think?
I have him similar to Hubbard, between 3 and 4, but I got him as very good. What a steal. What a steal. We got him for Billy Price. Sack numbers did drop last year, but guess what? That's okay. He played so many snaps. He was a force in the run game, a big-time force. They asked him, when DJ Reader was out, they asked him to be the run stopper. Guess what? When they had injuries towards the end of the year, so like Hendrickson was banged up, Hubbard was a little, slowed down a little bit with that calf injury. They had him play defensive end. He's very versatile. He signed a big contract. He earned it. He's a very good player. I got 4 points for BJ Hill.
Mon, give me 4 points. I'm right there with you. I said it I have said it from the beginning, Mon. BJ Hill, when DJ Reader went down, BJ Hill was the glue to that defensive front. He played so good against the run last year. BJ Hill, very good. What an absolute steal. Again, I know he doesn't rush the passer like everybody would like, but man, oh man, Mon. When him and DJ are in that middle, you can't run the football against the Bengals. You just can't do it. And like you said, BJ Hill is one of those guys like DJ Reader that frees up those linebackers to play their run fits, come down and close down those gaps and do all the things that linebackers are supposed to do. BJ Hill, very good, absolutely. All right, Trey Hendrickson. This is a tough one for me, because I think he is one that teeters between very good and elite. I'm going to say Trey Hendrickson is very good. So give me 4 points for Trey Hendrickson. I think we saw him that first year. I think he was elite. Last year, I thought he was very good. So I'm saying he's in between there. And again, I know his sack numbers were down, but his pressures were still really good, Mon. He got to the quarterback, just didn't get him down to the ground as much as he did that first year in stripes. Give me 4 points for Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, everything you just said is dead on 100%. I have him as 4 also. Easily could be a 5. His sack numbers were down. So was Hubbard's, and I think that's with the lack of interior pass rush. Larry O not being on the team. We talked about this in the past. Larry O and Hill had 14 and a half sacks combined 2 years ago. They didn't get that same pressure up front consistently. I think if they can find Zach Carter, somebody to give that pressure, I think Hendrickson and Hubbard, they could get 4 or 5 more sacks. Watching the Saints game again, he sacked Andy Dalton. Jake, I mean, he was this close to getting 2 more sacks. I mean, that was the whole season. He was so close.
So
he's a very, very good football player. He's on the team for another year, and I'm glad he is. What a steal getting him from the Saints. I mean, talk about a team that screwed up not keeping him. But I got him as a 4, close to being a 5. But he's very good. That's what I have. Look at our defensive line. Both of us are the same. 5 elite, 4, 4, and 4. That's a reason the Bengals have the second highest paid defensive line in football.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, that's why you pay those guys. And I'm gonna say this about an interior pass rush. Myles Murphy, he could be that guy, Mon. He could be that guy, hopefully. All right, let's move on to linebackers. Let's start with the guy that just got one of those paydays thanks to DJ Reader and BJ Hill. Jermaine Pratt, Mon, he has done nothing but excel these last 2 years. He keeps getting better, Mon, which is very impressive to me at that position. Jermaine Pratt, give me 4 points. I think he is very good. I think he is one of the better defensive players that we have had these last 2 years. And you saw why. The Bengals went out and gave him a nice little payday. Jermaine Pratt is really the leader on that defensive side of the ball. He really is. When you hear Lou talk about Jermaine Pratt, it is nothing but good things. I said in the beginning of free agency, Mon, my number 1 guy was Jermaine Pratt. The Bengals had to bring him back. He is that good of a football player. 4 points, Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah, I gave him 4 points also. Very good. Yeah, you can make an argument he's the best defensive player on our team last year. I was stunned that they re-signed him. Not that I didn't want him to. I just didn't think it was going to happen. I was thinking he's going to want Roquan Smith money. They found a number that worked. Jermaine Pratt, draft and developed. He was a Marvin Lewis draft pick. And listen, this guy has come in and his coverage numbers, he is a very, very good NFL linebacker. And he should take DJ Reader out to dinner because I think having DJ Reader has helped out our linebackers tremendously. But no, I'm very comfortable giving him a very good grade, 4 points.
All right, Logan Wilson, Mon. What you got Logan at?
I got Logan at a 4 also. I think Logan does have more upside. You said that last week. Logan could be in the 5 range. I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm a little bit of anxiety here. I'm worried that the Bengals, they better sign him. I want Logan Wilson to sign a contract extension with the Bengals. And sometimes I feel like, he's number 3 in line, Burrow, Higgins. I just hope, all that money's not that, taken away where they can't sign him. Logan Wilson, great player, a little more upside than Jermaine Pratt. And you hit it right on the head. I don't want to talk about the Super Bowl again, but I think personally, if they won, I think he was going to be the MVP because I haven't watched full replays, but I've watched some, and all you heard Collinsworth talk about was Logan Wilson. He was having one hell of a game. And, again, he's so athletic. Him and Pratt, they only play with 2 linebackers. That's why the Bengal defense and Lou Anarumo is so successful is when he has players like that can just run, cover backs out of the field, cover tight ends. Logan Wilson's a 4. Very good player. Could be elite.
I'm going to give him a 4 too, Mon. Mark me down for 4 for Logan Wilson. I think he's one of those teetering guys where he could be elite. I think that Super Bowl year he was elite. Again, I think he's kind of in that Trey Hendrickson spot with me, where last year, actually I should say 2 years ago now, he was elite. Last year, very good player. I'm with you. The Bengals have got to re-sign Logan Wilson. He could be an elite linebacker in the NFL. There's not a lot of guys, off-ball linebackers like him, that can go sideline to sideline, can cover guys like Cooper Kupp. He is by far, that draft is so incredible, Mon. Burrow, Higgins, Wilson. That is incredible that you get three elite players. Again, I got Logan Wilson at very good right now, but very well could be 3 elite players in the NFL in that draft. All right, let's move to the back end of this defense. Mon, let's start with the corners, and let's start with Cam Taylor-Britt, the rookie last year. Mon, what do you think of Cam Taylor-Britt?
Pleasant surprise. He had some growing pains. He had some rough spots. That's to be expected playing cornerback in the NFL. He improved so much. I love his physicality. It seems like when he came up and hit people, those running backs, those wide receivers flew backwards. Very physical. Some people even think he could play safety one day because he's just that style of play of his. But he improved, I think, over the last 4 or 5 games, really better in coverage. I have him as a good, but this guy could totally get up to the very good range. He's only played 1 year, and I feel comfortable giving him 3 points as good. I could see, to me, it's like more 3.5, but I just don't feel good calling him very good yet. I just want to see a little bit more. I'm glad we have him, and he's definitely going to be a starter this year, and he exceeded my expectations. I wasn't crazy about that pick last year. I thought it was borderline panic because the cornerbacks were drying up. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. He turned out to be a really good player, and I hope he continues trending up.
Give me 3 points as well. I'm going to say good, just because, like you, he doesn't have a full season under his belt. I don't feel comfortable saying he's very good, but I'm going to tell you right now, when Cheeto went down, I was in full panic mode. Like probably 90% of the Bengal fans in this world were. But man, oh man, Cheeto played really well, Mon, and I have him as good because I don't feel comfortable giving a guy that has a very small sample size very good. But man, oh man, he could very quickly be very good. Let's go to the other corner. Cheeto Awuzie. Mon, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to give him 5 points. I think he is elite. I think he's one of the top 5 corners in the NFL. And I think, again, he doesn't get the kind of love that he deserves. But these last 2 years, the Super Bowl year and last year before he got hurt, he was a top 2 corner in the NFL, Mon. He was elite these last 2 years. So I got to give him 5 points. I think he is a lockdown corner, and I hope and I pray that the Bengals can find a way to keep him on this roster for more years to come. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but Cheeto is elite to me. He is just that good.
That's fair, Jake. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Before his injury, he was a top 3 corner in football. Definitely elite. Played very good last year. Up and down career with the Cowboys, but I'm just worried about the Bengals. Absolutely. Last year, if he stayed healthy, you could make an argument he's top 2 cornerback in football. He was that dominant in that damn Cleveland Brown game. He got hurt. And you're right. I was in panic mode also. I thought it was over. I thought the season was going to go down the tubes. They win 10 in a row. I have him as very good. Little unknown about the injury. I think I think he'll be on a snap count, but I fully expect him to come in and maybe week 2, 3, and 4 start taking off, playing like he did last year. He could be easily elite, but I have him as a 4. I'm glad he's on the team, and he's another one with DJ Reader. I hope they can find a way to keep him. He's grossly underpaid at cornerback, grossly underpaid.
Yes. All right, here we go. The slot guy, Mike Hilton. Mon, where do you got Mike Hilton at?
I have Mike Hilton as very good. I think he's one of the best slot corners in football. The Chiefs did pick on him a little bit, his height in that championship game, but Mike Hilton, tough as nails. Again, he's like Cam Taylor-Britt. When he hits somebody, they go backwards. He is fearless. Against the Titans, he's going in, tackling that 250-pound running back like he's nothing. The guy doesn't have any fear. He's a great player. What a sign! What a sign! I mean, he made by us signing him, it made the Steelers a weaker team. And I love those kind of signings. Absolutely love it. I give him a 4. He's very good. He's one of the best slot corners in football.
Give me a 4 as well. I agree with everything you said. I think he is one of the best slot corners in football. I think he's the most physical slot corner in football, the most physical of any slot corner in football. When he comes downhill, Mon, he comes downhill, and he is a great tackler. You know, you don't hear a lot of corners being called great tacklers. Mike Hilton is a great tackler, and I'm glad that he is a Bengal. And again, he's one of those guys, man, he's coming up on that free agency market. I hope the Bengals can find a way because they got an absolute steal with him and Cheeto. All right, let's go to the last two, Mon, our two safeties. Nick Scott. Let's start with Nick Scott, Mon. You go ahead and start first. What do you think about Nick Scott?
Okay. Nick Scott, just I don't know much about him. I saw, a career special team player, started the last 5 games of that Super Bowl season for them because of injury, started every game last year. I know that the Rams tried to bring him back. His stats are, according to Pro Football Focus and they were okay. I have him as average. He's a good athlete. We'll see what Lou Anarumo can do with him because, let's go back to the injury from Cheeto Awuzie. For them to have a potential catastrophic injury and then bring in Cam Taylor-Britt and all these other players, and they win 10 in a row, and the defensive backfield really excelled. That shows you how good of a coach Lou Anarumo is and those defensive back coach. Let's see what he can do with Nick Scott. I have him as average right now. I have him as average.
Give me 3 points. I'm going to say he's good. I think he is a guy, again, that I like. I'm going to be interested to see how he fits in this defense. And like you said, Lou is a wizard on that back end of the defense. He is so good with those defensive backs. And I think Nick Scott could be one of those career guys, these safeties that the Bengals bring in and end up having a career in Cincinnati. And you've seen that in the past before with safeties signing with the Bengals. I think Nick Scott's going to be another one of those guys that he's going to excel in this defense, and I think he's going to take off. He's an incredible athlete, Mon. And again, I'm very excited that he is a Bengal. Obviously, it's tough. This position's tough because we lost 2 good ones. But I'm going to say he's good. I'm going to say Nick Scott is good. Give me 3 points. Dax Hill, last but not least, Dax Hill. I am going to say right now that Dax Hill is – this is a tough one because I think it's so hard. There's such a small sample size, Mon. I'm going to say he's average. Give me 2 points for Dax Hill. And again, that's nothing against Dax Hill. I just need to see a bigger sample size. I think his athleticism, I think his ceiling is extremely high. I think he could end up being one of those great Bengal defensive backs. I really do. Remember, don't forget this. When the Bengals drafted that year, my pick before the draft was Dax Hill. I have always wanted this guy in stripes. I loved him at Michigan. I think he's an incredible athlete. I wish I could have seen a bigger sample size last year from Dax Hill. But right now I'm just going to say average because of the sample size. But I think this is another guy like Nick Scott that could end up being a very good Bengal defensive back. What do you think about Dax Hill, Mom?
I agree with you 100%. We don't know what Dax Hill is. Elite athleticism. I'm going to give him a 2 as average right now because we don't know. Sort of like the Irv Smith, elite athleticism. That 2 that I gave him could be a 3 or a 4 next year. Same thing with Dax Hill. Let's just see what he does. Let's see how he reacts. There's going to be some rough spots early in the season, but I trust in Lou. Those defensive backs. You can make an argument the Bengals have the best defensive back coaches in football with what they do, and I give them a 2. I got the totals. You ready for them?
Yeah, let's hear the totals.
Okay, on offense, I had 39 points. You had 43. Okay.
Ooh,
on defense, I had 40
wow.
and you had 42. We agreed on most. There's a couple here and there, and but pretty fair. You have very valid points. You really did, and our roster is very, very good. Somebody brought it up in Spaces earlier about the Bengals roster. It's probably one of the best ones of all time. I think it is. It's up there with the 2015 roster. They have so many good players. It's Super Bowl or bust, Jake. It really is. This team. It's going to be fun being a Bengal fan for the next few years.
I'm going to be honest with you, Maan. I think this is the best roster the Bengals have had in the last 3 years. And I know that sounds crazy because we lost Jesse, we lost Von Bell, but the addition of Orlando Brown, I think, is tremendous. And I think another year under Joe Burrow's belt, another year, Jamar Chase. Again, some of these guys, we forget how young they are. I just think this is the roster. I think this is the best roster the Bengals have had in the last 3 years. And part of that is the offensive line. This is the best offensive line right now the Bengals have had since I can remember. And I don't know. I'm very excited about this season, and I agree with you. This is Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah, I do too. It's going to be. I just can't wait. I said it last week. It's going to be an exciting season. Of course, there's always those intangibles. Health is the equalizer. You never know how that's going to shake out. But last year we suffered some significant injuries, and we found a way to get through it. We had good depth, very good depth, also. And this team is built for a Super Bowl title, and it's going to be fun, Jake. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, guys, listen. Make sure you add to the comments. Let us know who you agreed with, who you disagreed with. Let us know who you think. Rank some of these players and let us know. Maan, come on, you already know. They're not. Come on, now you already know how this is going to turn out. Just like it turns out every week. Everybody's going to agree with me. All right, guys, that is another edition of the Bengals Pulse. If you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. If you like this podcast, please give Maan and I that 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. Guys, like always, follow us on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9. And on Instagram, the same without the @ Bengals_Pulse9. Make sure you follow Maan at The Fire Maan. Make sure you follow me at Coach Jake Owens 9. And as always, make sure you check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Wincinnati Podcast Network. He is Maan. I am Jake. Hooday, Bengal fans. We will see you next week. Go Reds. Come on, Reds.
Take care, guys.